season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
There's just something about dipping chicken McNuggets in sweet and sour sauce that's blessed me. Something about them in creamy ranch that just sends me. But in spicy buffalo, delicious. And right now at McDonald's, I can dip all I want. Yup, spicy chicken McNuggets are back. I can grab a 20-piece order, regular or spicy, for just $6. I can even order and pay ahead in the McD app. There's just something about this deal that's worth dipping into. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget, not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps, or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with our Clean Plan. Available at any of our 51 Arizona locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
We're talking about a playoff team today here on the show. Welcome in a Football Reaction Monday edition of the Lunch Break. Chris Schubert here with you, KDUS AM 1060. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. And how could you not, with the football that we got to see over the weekend, the basketball that we got to see over the weekend, the teams here in town certainly living up to expectations here in the early going, and we will have it all for you here for the next 2 hours on the program. A lot to get into. We are a little over 24 hours away from the NFL trade deadline tomorrow on Tuesday. We are frantically refreshing the Twitter feeds during the break, during the show, to see if Monty Ossenfort makes a move between now and the trade deadline tomorrow. Certainly feel like after yesterday's performance, we push closer in that direction. And of course, that is today's Daily Special.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
3 in a row. 3 in a row in dominating fashion as the Arizona Cardinals defeat the Chicago Bears 29-9 in a rain-filled game yesterday. We left the roof open in the first half. Some rain, some hail started to fall there. Had to close the roof in the middle of the game. Now, if it was Chase Field, they're not allowed to close that roof. So that would have stayed open. It would have been raining the entire time. But the Arizona Cardinals play their brand of football, and they pick up their 3rd straight victory, going away with a 29-9 victory over the Chicago Bears. And now it's not about technicalities. It's not about formalities. It's not about tiebreakers. The Arizona Cardinals sole possession of first place in the NFC West. The schedule, and we will get into the schedule a little bit later on here in the show, is favorable for them the next month or so. There is a golden chance, a golden opportunity in front of the 2024 Cardinals, and it requires some action, some activity from their front office here over the next 24 hours or so. But we will save that for the latter portions of the program. Right now, we talk about the game yesterday, and what can you say about a team that only had to throw the ball 20 times for 154 yards, that rushed the ball for over 213 yards, that once again fulfilled our statistic here on the show. They are now 5-0 when Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride are 1 and 2 in targets, and there weren't a lot of them to go around. Marvin Harrison Jr., the 2 catches on the 5 targets. Trey McBride, the 3 catches on 4 targets. They didn't have a lot of passing offense. They didn't need to have a robust passing offense because they had a game plan coming in. They executed it to perfection, and they dominated the Chicago Bears up front. Absolutely dominated them. And you watched the game, you saw the domination from them up front, but the numbers back it up. 213 yards on the ground for the Arizona Cardinals rushing the football, only 69 yards on the ground for the Chicago Bears rushing the football, and 6 Arizona Cardinals sacks of Caleb Williams. Dominated up front. And we still think this team needs to add up front, but this group up front delivered once again. We said on Friday, we laid out the path. What would the conversation be like on Monday if the Cardinals picked up a win? They were 5-4, and they were in sole possession of first place in the NFC West. And we said it was the defense that they brought against the Chargers. Check. They brought that in a big way. They looked like the team that had the top 5 rushing attack. And when you rush for over 200 yards, when you have 3 rushing touchdowns and none of them are by James Conner, that shows you that you were robust. You got multiple players involved. You have multiple backs in that backfield that can provide a thump. You had a Trey McBride rushing touchdown in this game. You were incredibly creative, but you had the horses up front to get it done. And James Conner led the way with his 107 yards on the ground. And you're watching the game, and it's constant. Ian Eagle at one point said during the game that, no, the Arizona Cardinals are not running the same play, even though it looks like they're running the same play over and over and over again. It's different. These are different rushing schemes where maybe we're pulling the guard or maybe we're getting out in space with a little outside zone. No, it's different. These plays are not all the same, but that is the level of dominance that the Cardinals brought to the table yesterday in that game. That it looked so easy, that it looked so effortless, that it looked like it was the same play over and over and over again. That's how well they played up front. They only had to throw the ball 20 times. Kyler Murray was 13 of 20 for 154 yards. Very pedestrian effort from Kyler Murray, and that's okay. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the running game for this team was not broke. 350 total yards of offense, 213 of them on the ground. And you look at what I thought was the biggest takeaway from this game is obviously you watch the game and you see the dominance and you see the final score. You see the 29-9 victory. But in the moment, you're not really keeping track of some of these statistics. And after the game, the Bears ran 70 plays to the Cardinals 57. So the Cardinals ran 13 less plays than the Bears did. Time of possession was close. By about 2 minutes favored the Bears. But it was the utter dominance on the ground of we are going to be able to control the clock. We're going to be able to go on long, methodical drives. We're able to go on 12-play, 70-yard touchdown drives to go up 14-6. In the second half, their opening drive, it's 21-9. They get the ball for the first time in the second half, and they go on a 13-play, 69-yard, almost 8-minute drive to kick a field goal to go up 24-9. That's how you win football games when you are maybe undermanned and out-talented. And I don't know if they were yesterday. They certainly looked like the more talented football team, but that's the recipe. We're going to dominate up front. We're going to have drives like this. We're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And that's what they did to the tune of 213 yards on the ground. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. This game was going to be won in the red zone. The Bears got down there once. They did not score a touchdown. The Cardinals got down there 3 times, turned 2 of them into touchdowns. There's your football game, folks. There's the difference. The Cardinals, when they got down into the red zone, they executed to perfection. And they turned those opportunities into 6 points. And when you're able to do that, that's how you win football games. They also limited the penalties. I mean, they lost a turnover battle in this game. They turned the ball over twice. They lost 2 fumbles, including a weird one from Marvin Harrison Jr. And it almost felt like that might have been the swing that could have gone the other way, right? It's 7-6. You're driving. You have an opportunity to go down the field, to respond, and The fumble happens. The Bears immediately get the ball in Cardinals territory, and they buckle down. That, to me, felt like where the Cardinals showed that they were the better team yesterday when they were able to buckle down and not allow that to turn into 6 points for the Bears. It was only 3 field goals for the Bears, all in the second quarter of that game. This was utter domination for the Arizona Cardinals, who now sit at 5-4, 3-2 at home, and now they welcome in a 3-6 football team this week. The New York Jets are in town, coming off of their win against Houston. They're trying to save their season, but you are playing a below 500 football team. And we will talk a lot about the schedule because we talked about it a lot in the lead up to this game, but now we're here. It is a reality that we are able to confront. And the Arizona Cardinals now have everything in front of them the rest of the season. They have the next month, their next 4 games, a golden chance to really make some noise in the NFC playoff picture overall. And I think you are starting to see a lot of people hop on the bandwagon that we talked about 2 weeks ago after they beat the Chargers of what this could look like. And now that is becoming a reality. And now there needs to be some action from the front office. And we've talked about that action a lot last week. And we are going to continue to talk about it here over the next 26 hours or so. But coming up next here on the program, a quick timeout, a quick break from the football because it's a 5-1 start. But on Saturday, an old friend returned. We'll talk about that next here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Here in Flagstaff, Arizona, there are only 2 colors that matter: blue and gold. Head coach Brian Wright leads NAU football into a new era.
Down the sideline, it's going to be a pick 6.
Join us Saturday. The Lumberjacks travel to Cali to play the Cal Poly Mustangs. Our coverage begins at 5 on the NAU Lumberjacks Sports Network.
NAU football on AM 1060 KDUS.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. Before you know it, the temperatures will be dropping into the 30s. Is your heating system ready? For a limited time, we're offering a heating tune-up for $59.95. Don't wait until the last minute. Make sure your heating system is up to the task of handling Arizona's cold desert weather. Call Precision Air and Plumbing today at 602 Fix My AC.
Decision with Precision Air.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost, theatrical, heavy metal, arena rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
Primavera Online prepares high school students for a bright future with the Strong Mind Merit and Performance Award, which helps with college, trade school, certifications, and the military. Enroll in grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Food. Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is mail, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
Make sure you download the KDUS 1060 app. Got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. Your opportunity to catch the show live. You can take the show with you. Going to get the video stuff up there pretty soon. Probably by the end of this week, all the video stuff will be up there. So pretty excited about that. So make sure you get ahead of things and you download the KDUS 1060 app today. A lot of football for us to dissect here on the program, but a quick break from that because there was a basketball game played over the weekend, and it was another win for your Phoenix Suns, who are off to a good start, 5-1 to start the year. If you were just airdropping in, if you were so laser focused on the football, big win for ASU over the weekend. We'll talk about that probably in the leftovers. Not a great weekend for the team down south. Tough loss there in UCF. So maybe you're dialed into the college football. Maybe you're paying attention to this Cardinal season, which I think maybe has taken some of us by surprise with how well they are playing. But this is around where people thought that they could be. I think they are doing this in spite of some things going against them on the injury front. But all in all, they're having a competitive season. They're a playoff team right now. That's fun. That's exciting. You can get intoxicated by that process. You can get intoxicated by the results. You can get excited. You could maybe be somebody who wasn't in on the Cardinals and now you're in. So you're head first. You're paying attention. And it's early. Basketball season just started. They've played 6 games. I'm not maybe watching all of these games start to finish. Maybe that's how you're feeling so far. Well, if you look up, you're seeing a team that is the number 2 seed behind the undefeated Oklahoma City Thunder. And I can't say that I've watched a lot of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but no surprise that they are playing as well as they are with where they were last year. And they were a young team that is getting better. But maybe you watched the Suns at home on Saturday night against the Portland Trailblazers. And maybe you watched what I'm going to bring up here because I mentioned an old friend return. And no, not talking about DeAndre Ayton. That is not the old friend that I am talking about. The unfortunate old friend that showed up on Saturday for the Phoenix Suns is the poor fourth quarter play. Because this team came out in the second half, outscored the Trailblazers 44-18. 44-18. Now think about that. Outscored them in the second half, 44-18 in the third quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, got doubled up. 32-16, Portland outscored the Suns in the fourth quarter, and the Suns only won by 6 points. So this was the problem last year. This is what was the, I think, launching point for people to hop off the bandwagon. This was the launching point for people to say, this team's not going anywhere in the postseason because they were constantly disappointing in the fourth quarter. The turnovers would pop up. The mistakes would pop up. The miscues would pop up. Their fourth quarter play was so different than the other 3 quarters. They would play 3 quarters and you'd be like, that's the Suns team. If they just brought that to the fourth quarter, they'd be elite. They'd be awesome. And they were just constantly have those miscues, those mistakes, the turnovers, the missed shots. Their fourth quarter play just wasn't up to par comparatively to their first 3 quarters. And it's early. We're not going to completely blow this out of proportion, but there it was again on Saturday night. It showed up again. Now, they still won the basketball game. I think there is good that you can take away from that you could play that poorly in the fourth quarter. You could get doubled up in the fourth quarter, 32-16, and still sneak away with a victory. That's probably a nice wake-up call to say, okay, can't play like that every night because you're not going to be playing the 2-5 Trailblazers every night. You're going to be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're going to be playing the Dallas Mavericks. You're going to be playing the Denver Nuggets. You're going to be playing these top teams in the Western Conference, right? Right now, the Golden State Warriors are off to a 5-1 start. The Mavs and Lakers are 4-2. Grizzlies are 4-3. Those are all the above 500 teams. You're going to be playing these teams. We've said the Western Conference is not going to be easy. If the Phoenix Suns are a top 4 seed in the West this year, they will have earned it in a big way. They will have gone through the juggernaut that is going to be this Western Conference schedule. So you can't play like that against Golden State, against Oklahoma City, against the Mavs, against the Nuggets, against the Timberwolves. You cannot play that way against those teams. 2-5, second from the bottom in the Western Conference Trailblazers, you can get away with it against them. And so the question that I have coming away from this game is not, is this going to be a repeating pattern? Because I don't think it's going to be. But the question is, how does Coach Budenholzer deal with it? Because I don't know if Frank Vogel would have dealt with it or he didn't deal with it in the correct way. And so does Mike Budenholzer look at this and say, it's just a one-off, we'll write it off, not a big deal? Or with what he was brought in here to do, to bring in a fresh voice, to bring in a fresh perspective, does he recognize that it was a problem last year, and make corrections and make adjustments? And I think it's the latter. Because so far, how could you not be impressed? I've been the one warning in front of this microphone, hey, this might not look pretty at all times. The results might not be there right away, but just look at the trajectory. Look at where they are month over month. You want to see them rise, and then you want to see them peak in the second half of the season. You want to see them being the complete version of themselves in the last 2 weeks of the season going into the playoffs. That's when you want to see the best version of them. Well, they're off to a good start. And it gives me confidence that they're 5-1, and I don't think they're playing their best basketball. They're spotting teams double-digit leads early. What was it, 18 to the Lakers, 21 to the Clippers? They're spotting big deficits early that they have to battle back from. They are playing poorly in the fourth quarter like they did the other night against Portland. This is not a team that's 5-1 and it's all sunshine and rainbows. It has not been easy sledding to get to 5-1, yet they're 5-1. That's a positive. That's a good thing. Because when they do put it all together, it's going to look even better than it is now, and the results are going to continue to be there. And so if you're telling me that this team is going to play 5-1 basketball when they are still figuring it out, how can you not get excited of what this is going to look like when you get to the second half of the season? When you get to the period where it's supposed to all be together? When Ryan Dunn isn't just a rookie playing in his sixth game? What's it going to look like when you've been able to manage the injuries and the workload for your big three and they are fresh and ready to go down the stretch? What's that going to look like? It can be incredibly exciting to look at where this team is right now and get excited about what the future will look like. Because they're 5-1 in spite of some sirens going off. The poor starts, like we mentioned against the Clippers and the Lakers. They beat the Lakers by 4. They spotted them an 18-point lead. They beat the Clippers by 6. They spotted them a 21-point lead. They won by 6 against the Trailblazers. They got doubled up and outscored by 16 in the fourth quarter. I mean, they won those basketball games. Those 3 basketball games that I just mentioned are 3 of their 5 wins. And now they have a little bit of an East Coast swing. They're going to play the 76ers. And speaking of the 76ers, what a mess that team is. What an absolute mess that team is right now. Because they will tip off tonight. And I got to tell you, the 76ers, Paul George is going to make his debut. Do we know if Joel Embiid is playing in this game tonight? Has he been suspended by the league? If maybe you didn't catch this because I was too busy watching football and a lot of stuff going on, I had to get this sent to me over the weekend. But Joel Embiid got into an altercation with a member of the media there in Philly. There were shoves, apparently, sent by Joel Embiid towards this reporter. Was unhappy with a column that was written by the reporter talking about his deceased brother, son. Family was brought into it. Joel Embiid didn't take too kindly to it. And a physical altercation ensued. And they were a team that's not playing well. I mean, let me check the standings real quick. But the last time I looked, I think they were 1-4 to start the year. They're not playing good basketball. And so you're playing a team tonight that is not playing good basketball, that has a ton of stuff going wrong for them off the court. They're 1-4. They got Joel Embiid pushing reporters. You got the team getting fined for the way that they're handling injuries. Paul George is only going to make his debut tonight. They're a team that can't get out of their own way right now. And so you're catching this team at a perfect time tonight. You're catching this team when they're not playing their best basketball. You're coming off of the lasting taste in your mouth is getting doubled up by Portland and barely surviving and winning by 6. So let's see what this looks like tonight. But I think if you were going to take the positive spin, this team has 5 wins to start the year, and 3 of them, they dug themselves some massive holes, spotting 15-plus point deficits in 2 of them, getting outscored in the fourth quarter 32-16, and having all of that bad fourth quarter play return. Yet they're still 5-1. Remember that redemption storyline we kept talking about at the start of the year? I think you're starting to see it. I think you're starting to see it come together, and they're starting to play like a team that knows that redemption is in front of them. And so, again, how could you not be happy with the way the Cardinals are playing at 5-4? How could you not be happy with the way the Suns have started the season? I mean, there was so much new system, new coach, some new players. You just didn't know if running it back was going to make sense. So far, so good. 6 games in. Small sample size. We'll warn against it. But so far, so good for the Phoenix Suns as they are 5-1. They will take on the 76ers tonight. A lot of action in the NFL yesterday. We will recap it. It is the Week 9 NFL Rewind. We do it next here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
License number 146316.
That's right. As long as it's inspected once a year, if your fire door fails to work as intended, we are responsible. No problem at all. We'll be right out. Jeannie, I want to make a wish.
Hey, Tasha, what do you need?
I wish that... Wait, still blue?
Yes, but still can't do magic since the stupid cheating High Council took it away for not having my lamp inspected.
Aw, Jeannie.
Can't get an inspector till next month.
Next month?
How come ASAP is so fast?
Because with our annual safety and adjustment programs, our customers have scheduled inspections every year. No rush needed.
Shucks, you guys are so good at that.
And if any door doesn't work the way it's intended, we are responsible for it.
ASAP, commercialdoors.com.
Tasha,
Yes, Jeannie. What do you need?
ASAP should get certified to inspect magical lamps.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Learn on Row does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Learn on Row has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call Learn on Row today.
Learn on Row is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Don't let prostate cancer sideline you. Early detection can save lives. Talk to Arizona Urology Specialists about getting screened. Arizona Urology Specialists. Personal care for life's most personal issues. Visit ArizonaURO.com or call 602-887-2160.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
Neon City Festival takes over downtown Las Vegas with art, food, and free performances by Alice in Wonderland, Neon Trees, Russell Dickerson, Seven Lions, and more. November 22nd through the 24th. Visit neoncityfestival.com.
James Out West brings NFL, NBA, MLB, and local sports talk to you Monday night starting at 7 on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the show. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. The phone number, if you want to join the conversation, 480-864-1060. It was I don't want to say it was a full I told you so week in the NFL because there were some things we got wrong. The Schubert 6 was not perfect this week. We hit some big ones. Didn't hit them all, though. But it is a largely I told you so edition of the NFL Rewind. So without further ado, why don't we get into it? Because we take this opportunity every single Monday to look back at the week that was in the National Football League. So week 9, here we go. And we'll start with a team that can't get out of their own way. Dallas Cowboys. They lose to the Atlanta Falcons 27-21. The Falcons move to 6-3. The Cowboys fall to 3-5. And the image that everyone is going to take away from this game is Mike McCarthy absolutely destroying a Microsoft Surface tablet. Just absolutely obliterating it on the sidelines. Team's bad. Team is not playing good football. Team can't get out of their own way. And you're just stuck. I think there's a ceiling of what this team could be. I think there's a ceiling of what this team was. They got worse in the offseason. And so when you already have low ceilings and then you get worse, it moves the ceiling lower. And this is kind of what they're going to be the rest of the way. And they're not going to lose out, right? They're going to just be mediocre, middle of the road. But they're not going to an NFC championship game. They're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. They're just a middle of the road team. I mean, think about this. Give me the Arizona Cardinals over the Dallas Cowboys right now, and it's not even particularly close. I would much rather take what the Cardinals are doing right now than try to fix the Dallas Cowboys. The Bills beat the Dolphins 30-27. Weird football game. You thought coming into this game, this was a spot for the Bills at home. Second game back for Tua, but Bills have really kind of handled the Dolphins. You thought this would be them further emphasizing who they are and what they're about in that AFC East. Now, they win the football game, but it requires a game-winning 61-yard field goal in order to do so. But they move to 7-2 in clear command. I would like to pass a motion. You can just give them the division now. They've got 7 wins. The next closest team has 3. Nobody's making up 4 games the rest of the way. The Jets aren't making up 4 games. The Dolphins at 2-6 aren't making up 5 games. Not happening. So you can just hang the banner. Although I don't know, however they would do it there in Buffalo, you can just put up 2024 AFC East champs. You can just hang it up there right now. We told you about this one. The Bengals beating the Raiders 41-24 behind 5 touchdown passes from Joe Burrow. Look, we circled this game in the Schubert 6 as this number feels wrong. The Bengals being, 7-point favorites feels wrong. This feels like the spot where they get their defense right. Now, the Raiders did score 24 points, but 14 of them came in the fourth quarter when this game was already in control for the Bengals. So this Bengals offense, they're relentless. You thought this was a get-right spot for the defense. It was, and the Bengals are one step closer to 500. And again, the door is open in the AFC, and they are marching right through 4-5. The Chargers walk into Cleveland, and they win 27-10. This is the ultimate I told you so. Jameis Winston got the Browns back on the map with their win. People thought, maybe they've got enough runway here left. The AFC wildcard picture is still open. They'll be able to get hot here with Winston because it's better quarterback play than what they were getting, and they can make some noise. Because you got the Jameis Winston performance that is the reason why Jameis Winston is a backup in this league. 26 of 46, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 3 of them. I said there was going to be a game where he threw 3 picks. I didn't know it was going to be the next week, but here we are as the Chargers do what they do best. Control the clock, run the football really well. They play good defense. The 3 turnovers from Jameis. He also fumbled the ball, but he recovered it. They were trying to just cough the ball up. The Browns are done. 2-7. They're not going anywhere. It is over. This is what I get. This is one of those I told you so's was wrong. I said, Patriots-Titans isn't going to be fun. Why do you need to watch that game? Well, that game goes to overtime because Drake May, I still don't know how he did it, ran around for 12 seconds. They timed it. It was like 11.86 seconds or 9.6. It was insane. The last play of the game, as time expires, he scrambles around for almost 12 seconds and is able to hit Ramondre Stevenson to force this game into overtime. And then the Titans go on one of the slowest drives I've ever seen. The overtime is 10 minutes. They took nearly 7.5 minutes off the clock. It felt like it was 45 minutes long. It was just run play after run play after run play. We'll mix in a pass to Calvin Ridley, and then we'll run the ball some more. We'll run the ball some more. They take the lead. The Patriots don't have a lot of time. They don't have any timeouts. Drake May kind of forces it, presses it a little bit. Titans intercept him, and they win 20-17. Vegas knows sometimes. The Commanders were 4-point favorites all week, and I made it my 6-point play. Now, we were right because the Commanders covered the 4. But the Giants, with a fourth quarter to remember, they outscored the Commanders 12-3 to make this game close. The Commanders only win 27-22. Vegas made this line 4. They knew. And I said, oh, no, the Commanders will be in complete control of this game. I know the Giants play close against the Commanders, but not this team, not this quarterback. No, it's going to be different. Nope, it was the same thing. Giants somehow kept it close. Now, they covered, so we won the 6 points there. So we're happy with that. But it was closer than I wanted it to be. You want to talk about closer than you wanted it to be? How did the Saints lose that football game to the Carolina Panthers? How does it happen? 23-22, the final. So much so that they fired their head coach. Oh, by the way, we didn't even mention the Raiders, after losing that game, fired like all of their offensive staff, like just all gone. So if you want to be an offensive coordinator, there's some openings in Vegas. But the Panthers beat the Saints, who get healthy. Derek Carr comes back. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in New Orleans. You've got players not happy. You've got ex-players calling out Derek Carr. Michael Thomas went on a tweet storm over the weekend talking about the passes that Derek Carr is throwing. You have players tweeting today like memes of how they're feeling going into the building now that Dennis Allen is gone. Doesn't feel like he was very well liked. The mojo, the energy in that building, not good. I don't know where they go from here. The team is a mess. It is a 2-7 team that doesn't have a lot of cap flexibility. They fired their coach. Good. You can get ahead of it. This team was 2-0 to start the year. They've lost 7 in a row. And they just got healthy. They got their quarterback back. And they lose to the Panthers. The Panthers at home? 2-7 Panthers. They were 1-7 coming to the game. They beat you. I said I didn't think they were going to win a game the rest of the season. And you want to talk about one of the things we got just emphatically wrong. I said 8.5, 9.5, 10.5, whatever the number is, give me the Broncos to keep this close. Defense wasn't going to allow the Ravens to score 41 points from the Baltimore Ravens. And just when I was out, just when I was on the show saying, you know what, Baltimore, no, you're not going to get me. You're not going to fool me again. Well, I'm ready to be fooled again. Who do they play this week? Are they on the bye? I have no idea. But you know what? I'm back in on the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, they're on Thursday night this week against the Bengals. Maybe we'll have some Thursday night action for the Schubert 6 this week. It's rare. We were on a 1-week hiatus. But maybe we come back this week as the Baltimore Ravens just club the Denver Broncos 41-10. The Eagles beat the Jags 28-23, and they're starting to find themselves a little bit. I don't think it's the prettiest. It doesn't look awesome, but Saquon Barkley just adds a new element to their team. The hurdle, just the no-look hurdle. I didn't know you could do a no-look hurdle. But you know what? Saquon Barkley did it. Just turns around, leaps into the air, and goes, I'll just clear this defender, no problem. 27 carries for 159 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. And he added a big day in the air as well. Caught 3 catches for 40 yards out of the backfield with 1 touchdown. Almost 200 total yards for Saquon Barkley. I think Giants fans want Saquon Barkley back now after what he's doing there in Philadelphia as they win 28-23 to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars and move to 6-2. Spoiler alert, tomorrow on the program, we're going to do the post-Week 9 entering Week 10 power rankings in the National Football League. I'm going to tell you right now who the number 1 team is, because it is a team that checked off the one box that was a question mark, because I picked the Packers for this reason. Jared Goff is a different quarterback outdoors. He is not the same guy when he is outside. There was rain in the forecast. The elements were not on his side. And if you look at the numbers, they kind of back that up. He was 18 of 22 for 145 yards and a touchdown. This was not the normal Jared Goff that we normally get. But David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs go off. They have 124 yards of offense on the ground. They're able to go into Green Bay and defeat the Packers 24-14. This division is all theirs as they move to 7-1. And look, they checked that box off. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't Jared Goff's best. But if they're going to be able to go on the road and play good enough football in order to win, and that's a good Packers team that they're playing. I know Jordan Love was a question mark, but he did play through for 273 yards. You start to wonder, this Lions team is for real. If they're going to be able to go on the road and potentially play outdoors and not play in a dome, and if they can get that type of play, there's a chance that they could be special. And they're already special at 7-1, leading that division. We've got 2 more games to get into here, an NFC West clash with probably the most desired outcome for the Arizona Cardinals is the Rams beat the Seahawks 26-20. And I don't know what to make of the Seahawks. You look at the stats, Geno Smith, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba goes for 180 with 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker nearly gets 100 yards on the ground. That's what their offense is supposed to look like. But they're just a middle-of-the-road team as they drop to 4-5, and the Cardinals get them coming up here in a couple of weeks after their bye, and feels like you're catching them right at the right time because they are a team that just, I don't know where they're going. They're middle of the road. And the Rams win to get to 4-4, and the Cardinals have already beaten the Rams, so you feel pretty good about that, where the Cardinals have the tiebreaker advantage, and they'll get an opportunity to further that advantage when they take on the Seahawks. They play them twice in a 3-week span, so we will see what happens there. And then on Sunday night, last night, the Vikings, with a bounce-back performance as they beat the Indianapolis Colts 21-13. Sam Darnold leads the way, 290 yards with the 3 passing touchdowns. And look, I don't know where the Colts are going. They made the quarterback change. Looks like they're going to stick with that for a little bit, but they're starting to see, I think, the AFC slip through their fingers a little bit with how they played. And the Vikings, with a bounce-back performance, they keep pace in that NFC North. They keep pace with the Detroit Lions, who are 7-1. The Vikings, with their win, bouncing back, they get to 6-2 with their win at home last night. So one more game tonight. You've got the Bucs and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football later today. So we will see if the Chiefs will continue their perfect run, see if they will stay undefeated as the only undefeated left in the National Football League. But that is tonight when the Chiefs take on the Bucs. So that is your NFL Week 9 rewind. Coming up next, it was back to a familiar trend for the Arizona Cardinals. Is that a sign of things to come? We'll get into it on the other side. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Carving out time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Every day, safe, prepared, informed. Every day, safety is our top priority. At APS, we consistently make updates to our electrical system to keep our crews and customers safe around electricity. Remember these tips. Put safety covers on wall outlets. Call 811 before you dig to have the location of underground wires marked. And stay at least 100 feet away from downed power lines. For more ways to stay safe around electricity, visit aps.com/brighter.
Hi, I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Recently, Lerner & Rowe was named the second most influential law firm in the United States. Although we have offices in other parts of the country, Glenn and I both live here and raise our families here. We are your local law firm. No other law firm in the state comes close to the experience, reputation, and results as Lerner & Rowe. When you're hurt, a wreck, and need a check, call the law firm that can get you the results you need. Call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Shop the best deals of the year during the Living Spaces Black Friday event, where you'll save big on designs for your home. Find sofas for as low as $395, dining sets starting at $295, queen beds starting at $195, and rugs, accessories, and home decor at unbelievable prices. Plus, pay no interest for 24 months on select purchases with your good credit. And get it all before Thanksgiving with free shipping as soon as next day. Only at the Living Spaces Black Friday event.
Living Spaces.
Here in Flagstaff, Arizona, there are only 2 colors that matter: blue and gold. Head coach Brian Wright leads NAU football into a new era.
Down the sideline, it's going to be a pick 6.
Join us Saturday. The Lumberjacks travel to Cali to play the Cal Poly Mustangs. Our coverage begins at 5 on the NAU Lumberjacks Sports Network.
NAU football on AM 1060 KDUS. Listener rewards for you with the KDUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the show. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. However you may be listening, we appreciate you joining us on your lunch break during our lunch break. And we just wrapped up the Week 9 NFL Rewind, and I opened by discussing the Falcons-Cowboys game and wondering aloud where the Cowboys were going to go the rest of the season and how I thought they were going to be just a middle-of-the-road team. Well, We know that Dak Prescott had a hamstring injury that he suffered in that game on Sunday. We didn't know the severity of it and how long he would miss. Well, Tom Pelissaro and Ian Rappaport are reporting that he's expected to miss multiple weeks because of that injury. And there is conversation about him potentially going on injured reserve, which would mean he would have to miss up to at least 4 weeks. So that is the current news in the NFL. We are keeping tabs. We are keeping eye. We are refreshing frantically, not poll results, but whether or not the NFL trade market is going to wake up today, because we haven't had anything here in at least the last couple of days. We are looking at a Cardinals team that is 5-4, has firm positioning atop the NFC West all by themselves. They control their own fate in a lot of ways with what they've done early in the season and what the rest of their schedule looks like. We'll talk about that a little bit in hour number 2 of the program. And so we are keeping tabs on whether or not any trades get made. And at the top of the hour, we will bring you a bit of an update on where we stand and where the Cardinals should be in all of this. And you can probably take a couple of guesses of where I stand on this, but we'll do that at the top of the hour. But getting back to the game itself from yesterday, the 29-9 victory for the Arizona Cardinals over the Chicago Bears. I just can't help but look at the box score, and I can't help but look at the way this broke down for the Arizona Cardinals and say that they played the football game that they wanted to play. It's rare in any sport, but in this case, it's football. But it's rare to be able to have a game plan, to have an identity, and to be able to just execute it almost exactly the way that you want to execute it. You can go into a game, you can go into a series, you can go into a matchup and say, this is who we are as a team. This is what we want to do. And then the game actually happens. The series actually starts. The matchup begins. And things change. The game script maybe is different. Maybe you want it to be a run-first operation. But you look up and you had a couple of bad turnovers or some 3-and-outs, and now it's 14-0. I don't know if we have time to run the football now. We got to get back into the flow of games. We got to throw ourselves back into this game so we can get back towards running the football. Sometimes you can have a plan, and then you get punched in the mouth early on, and that plan changes. That plan has to be adjusted. You can no longer be the team that you thought you were going to be. You're going to have to find your way, dig your way out of the hole that you put yourself in. What hole did the Arizona Cardinals put themselves in yesterday? What bad spot did the Cardinals find themselves in? They led the game wire to wire. And they did so behind a rushing attack that combined for 34 carries, 213 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They won a football game in which Kyler Murray didn't throw a touchdown, didn't run for a touchdown. Kyler Murray was not responsible for any of the Cardinals' touchdowns yesterday. They won the football game by 3 scores. It was comfortable. It was easy. They dominated up front. And all offseason, the identity of this team was talked about, who they were. And with James Conner still in the fold, this was a run-first operation. Kyler Murray doesn't have to do everything. Kyler Murray doesn't have to be Superman. Kyler Murray doesn't have to be the hero. He just has to execute the offense that we call. He has to execute the offense and execute the plays that are designed. Because you got a great running game that's going to be able to open things up for you in the passing game. You've got some great pass catchers like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride that you can get the ball to, and this is all going to flow. And yesterday, it flowed. Take the score off the table for a second. If we got here on Monday and I said Kyler Murray's stat line was 13 of 20 for 154 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, you probably would say they lost a football game. You probably wouldn't have thought that the Cardinals won 29-9. That shows you the dominance that this team is able to have up front, the success that they were able to have up front. They were the best version of themselves. Was it perfect? No, they turned the ball over twice. They lost 2 fumbles. Now, maybe we want to attribute one of those fumbles to the rain that was allowed into the building because they kept the roof open. Maybe we can allow one of those to be put to the side for a second. But they lost the turnover battle. They handed the Bears 2 extra opportunities, and it didn't matter because this defense that we talk about needing to have an influx of talent brought into it via the trade deadline got 2 sacks from Zaven Collins. Got a sack and a half from Xavier Thomas. Got half sacks from Kaiser White and Dante Stills and LJ Collier. Players are stepping up. They are meeting the moment. They do so because they believe in the identity of the team that the coaching staff has set forth. I've talked about it. These last two games for the Cardinals before this game against the Bears showed me a lot of the way the team responds to the coaching. This is another example. This game might be the example. I thought it was the Chargers game. It might be this game. You go out and have this game, this performance against this Bears team, who we warned you about wasn't great offensively, and you had a chance in this game. But you dominate in this way. You rush for over 200 yards on the ground. You don't need your quarterback to do a whole lot. You get this type of defensive output, 6 sacks. You do that because you are bought in. You don't, obviously you want your fellow players who are injured to be with you, but you don't care that there's injuries. You don't feel sorry for yourself. The team doesn't feel sorry for itself. The coaching staff doesn't feel sorry for itself. The coaching staff still has the highest of expectations of what this team could be. And that has trickled down into the players, and you can see it in the way that they play. You can see it in the way this defense galvanizes around each other. In watching the game, and the Bears kind of get a little bit of momentum, and they're starting to move the ball a little bit, and it's calm, it's cool, it's collected, it's bend but don't break. No dumb penalties to keep the drive alive. They had, 2 penalties for the whole game? 2 penalties for 15 yards. The Bears on the other side, 6 penalties for 33 yards, including a safety by the Bears because DeAndre Swift committed a chop block in the end zone. The team played almost perfect football yesterday. You obviously want to clean up the turnovers, but we said they can't commit the dumb penalties to keep drives alive. They didn't do that. Be efficient in the red zone. 2 for 3 in turning those opportunities into touchdowns. Be like the defense you were against the Chargers. They held the Bears to 9 points. They were 0 for 1 in the red zone. They held the Bears rushing attack to under 70 yards. They sacked Caleb Williams 6 times. Remember we talked about containing Caleb Williams, not allowing him to get outside and make those plays. He made a couple, but he didn't make a lot. There was patience. There was discipline. That all comes from coaching and player buy-in. And so when we talk about trends moving forward, this team has an identity. They are going to be able to run the football. And oh, by the way, they're going to get Jonah Williams back more than likely this week or soon. So they're going to get even better up front. So we can run the football extremely well. Our quarterback's completely bought into what we are doing. I mean, think about this. The play to end the first half tells you everything you need to know about this football game and how the Cardinals are. They ran the ball. They ran the ball in a spot that you should never run the football, and it's a 53-yard touchdown. You want to talk about a team that's got confidence in what they're doing. You want to talk about a team that believes in what their coaches are selling them. Are you kidding me with that play call in that spot? And I mean that in a good way. You run the ball with 4 seconds left, or what was it? 10 seconds left? I mean, the half's winding down. You run the ball in that spot? Absolutely insane. The confidence level that this team has to run that play. That's just one example. But I think it's the biggest example from this game of a team that is extremely confident. And the results are following. But the confidence, you can see it. There's just this calmness about this team. That, yeah, they've faced injuries. Yeah, they haven't played their best football throughout the entirety of the year. But here they are. Here are the Arizona Cardinals after week 9 of the season. 5-4 in first place with a great schedule favoring them in the second half. And they didn't feel sorry for themselves. They didn't play down to their opponents. They just went out there and took care of business yesterday. That was a butt kicking that the Arizona Cardinals gave to the Chicago Bears. You don't have that type of lopsided performance rushing the football. And I said at the top of the show, Ian Eagle during the game said, no, do not adjust your television screen, folks. The Arizona Cardinals are not running the same play over and over and over again. These are actually different runs. But it just looked the same because it was the same result over and over and over again. Didn't matter which back was in the backfield, whether it was James Conner, whether it was Amari DiMercado, whether it was Trey Benson. There was just utter domination up front. And when you win up front like that, that's a reflection on coaching. That's a reflection on player buy-in. That's a reflection on culture. We're going to be better than you in this spot. This trench, it's ours, not yours. It's ours. And they dominated it. And these are the trends that can continue. Because when you have to go play a road playoff game, if that's in the cards for the Arizona Cardinals, you got to bring a good running game and you got to bring a good defense. And this defense, despite all the injuries, is stepping up. They didn't allow a touchdown yesterday. You're going to win a lot of football games if you don't allow the other team to score a touchdown. Doesn't matter what your offense looks like. But they can run the football. They played good defense. And they won yesterday without Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison Jr. really doing a whole lot. 5 combined catches between the two gentlemen. Less than 70 yards of offense. The one touchdown was the Trey McBride rushing touchdown to open the game. So you were able to put up 29 points. You were able to dominate the way that you did. And the 2 star players in your passing game didn't really do a whole lot. Shouldn't that be exciting for what the future holds for this team? Shouldn't that be exciting with the trade deadline right around the corner and the team with an opportunity to add to make their team better? Shouldn't that be exciting when you consider the schedule that this team has? And we will talk about that here in a little bit. I look at this game yesterday, and it is a continuation of all of the themes that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. These are the themes that we said are the reason why this organization, this front office, should be adding. And there is still time to do so. But you got a team right now that culture-wise is so bought in. They are ready to do something special. They are ready to make 2024, no matter how it ends, a season to remember for Cardinals fans. They are willing to take you on a journey right now. They want to take you on a journey of potentially winning this division. And with the way the other teams are playing in the division, it is certainly on the table. We are 9 games in. We are now past the halfway point of this division. This team hasn't even had their bye week yet. They haven't even had the opportunity to take some time off to reset, to regroup, to get healthy, and then, boom, hit the second half full speed ahead. They haven't even had that yet. They got another game this week. And so I hope, and we will get into this at the top of the hour for sure, but I hope that when we come in here tomorrow, that a trade has already happened or they're close on a trade. I don't want us to get to Wednesday's show. I don't want us to get to middle of the week and potentially be taking phone calls at 480-864-1060 about people upset that the Cardinals didn't do anything. Because that would be a disappointment. That would be, I think, frankly, a mistake by this organization. How can you not look at what this team did yesterday, what this team has done in the last 3 weeks, and see that there is a team that is trending upward? We talked about this with the Phoenix Suns. It's the trends. We want to see the progress over time. Well, the progress over time for the 2024 Cardinals is trending upward. The arrow is moving in the right direction. It is a positive trend for this team. And they can play the way that they played yesterday the rest of the way. There is nothing about that game yesterday that is secret sauce, that is unrepeatable, where it was a fluke win in the fourth quarter because a bunch of things went their way. They just dominated. And with their schedule, the way it breaks, there's more domination the rest of the way on the menu for the Arizona Cardinals. So reward that. Go out and get somebody here within the next 25, 26 hours or so between now and the NFL trade deadline. There's nothing that I've seen over the last 3 weeks that tells me that this team can't go on a run right now. And how double-digit wins can't be on the table. Dominated the Arizona Cardinals the Chicago Bears yesterday. Did the Arizona Cardinals. Dominated them. Coming up next, hour number 2 of the program, we start with the latest from the NFL trade deadline, which is just 1 day away. Where's the activity? Bueller? Anybody? Hour number 2 next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. When you make the choice to foster, you have the power to make an impact greater than you ever expected. The support you give a child, when you provide them with a healthy and loving environment to grow, has a ripple effect that positively impacts everyone they come in contact with throughout their lives, creating a better community for the future. That's the Foster Effect. Learn more about foster parenting at azdcs.gov/foster effect. azdcs.gov/foster effect. Teeth are amazing. That's why at Affordable Dentures and Implants, they believe it's time the world sees your smile. With new financing options available, you don't need to wait to get your smile back. 6 practices in the Phoenix area open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation. Call 1-800-DENTURE or visit affordabledentures.com to find a location near you. Services provided by an Arizona licensed general dentist. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We're sitting down with our members age 60 plus from around the country to find out how Archwell Health is helping them live life to its fullest.
I feel like I can go forward because now I'm in good health.
I have a doctor who really cares and is truly interested in helping me live my best life.
What was my first impression when I walked in? I could sum that up in a 3-letter word. Wow.
Are you ready for a different kind of primary care in Phoenix? Visit archwellhealth.com to become a member today during Medicare annual enrollment and start living your best life better.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Call A1 Garage today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1 from day one. Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the program. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw me run into the other studio. It's always fun when you have to do things in like the shortest of time spans and you remember at the last possible second what you need to do. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join the conversation. Lots to get into here today on the show. Cardinals with a big win yesterday. The Suns in action again tonight with a win over the weekend against Portland. And what we're going to talk about now, which is the NFL trade deadline. And look, let's just be honest. Let's just say the way that it is right now, because the deadline is about 26 hours or so away from happening. It's quiet right now. There is not a lot of activity. We had that flurry of activity early with a lot of wide receivers getting moved, Josh Uche getting traded, Cam Robinson getting traded. There was some flurry of moves, but not a whole lot since then. Not a whole lot of big moves made, which is both good and bad. It's bad because it's been quiet. There hasn't been a lot of activity, but it's good because all of the big names that we talked about, 2 weeks ago now, for the Arizona Cardinals are mostly still around, still available. Zadarius Smith, still available. Chase Young, still available. You maybe want to call up the Saints after they just fired their coach. You maybe want to see if they're interested in selling some of the pieces on their team. You could talk to the Giants, who lost again yesterday. There are teams and players that are more open for business than maybe they were a couple of weeks ago. Now, I campaigned for Trey Hendrickson. That's not going to happen with the way the Bengals are playing, with way with the way they are playing right now. They got back into the playoff mix at 4-5. So they're right now the 9 seed in the AFC, just 1 game back of the 7 seed. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon in terms of trading, but Cleveland's probably open for business. Miami, after their loss, is open for business. Jacksonville, the Raiders, the Patriots will be listening. You look on the NFC side of things. Dallas, if they're going to miss Dak Prescott for a couple of weeks, might be interested in taking calls. Carolina, the Saints, the Giants. I mean, there are teams out there, and those teams have players that match up well with the Arizona Cardinals. I look at Carolina and Jadeveon Clowney. I look at the Saints. We mentioned Chase Young. The Giants, Ojulari. You look at the AFC, maybe you call the Raiders and see if they've changed their position on Max Crosby. They probably haven't. The Darius Smith, Myles Garrett from the Browns. There are players all over the NFL landscape right now on bad football teams because it takes 2 to tango. You need 2 teams in order to make a trade, at least. And so part of it is finding teams that are willing to sell, that are willing to make trades, because you look at the AFC playoff race, right? Let's just look at the AFC side for right now. The top 7 seeds are not moving right now. Is Indy going to be in sell mode right now, 1 game out of a spot? Is Cincinnati? No. Are the Jets? No. So it's Titans and down, really. So you've got all those teams. In the NFC, the 7 seed right now is the Packers at 6-3. But then after that, you have the Bucks, Bears, Rams, and 49ers all at 4-4. Do you think any of those teams are going to sell right now as it currently stands? You think the Seahawks at 4-5 are going to sell? No. So you've got about 8 or so teams that are probably all the way open for business. There are other teams that maybe are slightly open for business if you just overwhelm them and wow them with an offer. But there are probably around 8 teams, Carolina, New Orleans, and the Giants on the NFC side. And on the AFC side, you're probably talking Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Raiders, the Patriots, and Dolphins and Titans. So what is that? 6? It's 9 teams. So close to maybe 10 teams, a third or so of the league, all the way open for business, would be listening to almost any conversation you don't want to have with them. And that's where the Arizona Cardinals should be living. That's where the Arizona Cardinals should be trying to strike, because this Cardinals team is in a prime position to control their fate in the NFC playoff race, in the NFC West race. They're 5-4 right now. They have full control over the division. They play the Seahawks coming up here, 2 games in a 3-week span against that team. The schedule is favorable. Again, we're going to get to that a little bit here later in hour number 2. But I don't know how you could let this trade deadline come and go and not do anything. I don't know how you could let this trade deadline, and you know what? Ask and you shall receive. It's as if I needed to check Twitter as this happened, because the Arizona Cardinals have made a move. They have added a pass rusher. It is none of the names that we just mentioned, and it comes from one of the teams that I didn't think was going to make a move. So it's great when you make a point and it's well thought out and it's well researched and you're excited and you're ready to go. And then all of a sudden you get a piece of news that changes things. The Arizona Cardinals are acquiring edge rusher Baron Browning from the Denver Broncos. Now, this is not going to be a move this is not a Zadarius Smith. This is not a Myles Garrett. This is not somebody like that. But this is, let's get somebody in here. Let's add somebody to this team that can help us. Let's add somebody that gives us depth as a defense. And so far this year, not doing a whole lot. Has 7 total tackles, 1 solo tackle. Doesn't have any sacks yet this year. Has 9.5 sacks for his career. This is very much a depth move. This is not a big fish that the Cardinals have landed. This return is probably not going to be super over the top. But this is a super speedy guy, according to Ian Rappaport of ESPN. So it was Tom Pelissaro who broke the original news of the Broncos sending edge rusher Baron Browning to the Cardinals. And it is a 6th rounder that is going back for Baron Browning. So a depth move. You get somebody in here who's a speed guy, 25 years old, right? So not a veteran. This is somebody who is on the younger side. And so you add him in, and the idea is, hey, come to this defense, come to an exciting team right now that's 5-4. I mean, the Broncos are a good team right now, and they felt very comfortable moving on from Baron Browning, and so they're going to make this move, and the Cardinals get themselves a pass rusher, a 6th-round pick to Denver in exchange for Baron Browning. Again, 9.5 career sacks. So this is not going to be the move that wows you. This is not the huge home run move, but it is a move. And so we will get into more of this here on the other side. We will also talk about the Cardinals' schedule and how it unlocks for them here in the second half. So all of that here on the lunch break next. KDUS AM 1060.
Have you downloaded the KDUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
License number 146316.
That's right. As long as it's inspected once a year, if you're fired or fails to work as intended, we are responsible. No problem at all. We'll be right out. Jeannie, I want to make a wish.
Hey, Tasha, what do you need?
I wish that... Wait, still blue?
Yes, but still can't do magic since the stupid Genie Eye Council took it away for not having my lamp inspected.
Aw, Jeannie.
Can't get an inspector till next month.
Next month?
How come ASAP is so fast?
Because with our annual safety and adjustment programs, our customers have scheduled inspections every year. No rush needed.
Shucks, you guys are so good at that.
And if any door doesn't work the way it's intended, we are responsible for it.
ASAP, commercialdoors.com.
Tasha.
Yes, Jeannie. What do you need?
ASAP should get certified to inspect magical lamps.
You want a sub freshly sliced to order? You go to Jersey Mike's. You want the perfect radio idea? You go to me. Like this. I'm a lone ninja warrior. By night, I glide unseen across the rooftops, watching my enemies from the shadows. By day, I go to Jersey Mike's, watching someone freshly slice my sub. My blade is called Shadow. His blade is a Berserker brand meat slicer. Clearly, I have much to learn about this land. Freshly sliced just for you. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Stop letting your bladder call the shots. Talk to Arizona Urology Specialists about frequent urination and take back control today. Arizona Urology Specialists, personal care for life's most personal issues. Visit ArizonaURO.com or call 602-887-2160.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NFL season is rapidly approaching its halfway point, but what makes this season so unique is there is really no clarity at the top of the standings. The Chiefs are the NFL's only undefeated team, but there are flaws. Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions than touchdowns this season, and the team has lost some key players on offense. The Lions, similar issues. Since the injury to star defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, Detroit's pass rush has been non-existent, putting even more pressure on the Lions' new-look secondary. Then there's Buffalo. Bills can score with the best of them, but their run defense has been poor, allowing over 120 yards per game. That could be a real issue with star running backs like Derrick Henry in Baltimore and Joe Mixon in Houston likely headed to the AFC playoffs. So although the playoff picture may be starting to take shape, what makes this NFL season so exciting? There doesn't seem to be a team that feels invincible. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you're ever worried about the safety of your home and your family, there's no better time to act than right now. Get 60% off a new Simply Safe security system. Old school alarm systems only kick in once somebody is already inside your home. Simply Safe stops crime in real time. They have something called Active Guard Outdoor Protection. To get 60% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan, go to simplysafedan.com. That's simplysafedan.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hey, are you a whiskey lover? If so, you have to try the new Keeper's Heart whiskey. Keeper's Heart is one of the first to blend Irish and American whiskey, and it's really good. So good, in fact, Keeper's Heart has been recognized as one of the world's best whiskeys for the way it brings together the boldness of American whiskey with the smoothness of Irish whiskey. It's the perfect matchup. Keeper's Heart is a legend in the making. Trust us, you gotta try it. Drink responsibly.
Football fans, it's Mellow Monday, so join the Rooster at Mellow Mushroom off the I-17 in Happy Valley Road between 5 and 6 p.m. every Monday night during football season. Welcome back to the show. Lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. You're just getting into your car, just listening to the program. The Arizona Cardinals have just made a move, trading a 6th-round pick to the Denver Broncos in exchange for pass rusher Baron Browning, a 25-year-old who's been with Denver since he was drafted, 9.5 career sacks. So statistically, not somebody that is going to overwhelm you. This is not trading for Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or Zadarius Smith or Jadeveon Clowney. This is not a big swing for Monty Ossenfort, but this is a swing for Monty Ossenfort. And I think my takeaway from this is that we shouldn't be surprised that this is the move that the Cardinals have decided to make. And there's no telling that they're done. There's no telling that this is going to be their only move, right? There's still time. They just got something done here ahead of the trade deadline. But it is not surprising that Monty Ossenfort would lean towards the angle of not burning a lot of his draft capital for next season, trading a late day 3 pick in his 6th rounder, but increasing the floor of his group with somebody that he thinks would fit into Jonathan Gannon's defense, that would fit into this culture, and statistically is not going to wow you, but it is a name, it is a body, it is somebody to add to this group, and it is somebody who's going to get a lot of opportunity to be able to make a name for himself in this defense. Again, only 9.5 career sacks to start his career. And he's only 25 years old. And so this feels like the ultimate, not going to spend a lot of money, but I'm going to add somebody. And he's got 0 sacks this year, 4 tackles. Again, this is not Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, but this isn't even the second tier of player. This isn't even we talked about Azeez Ojulari. We talked about Chase Young. We talked about trading for just the 1-year rentals that you could immediately extend type players. Baron Browning, I think, is a tier lower than that. I think he's a guy. I think he's a guy that helps. I think any help is good at this stage. But I don't know, and this is where you give a front office time. The trade deadline is not over. They still have until tomorrow. I don't know if this can be the only thing this organization does between now and tomorrow afternoon. I don't know if you can sell to your fan base, hey, we're 5-4, we're in first place, and our big move to reward that was a guy who has 0 sacks this year and 9.5 sacks in his career. I don't know if that can be I don't know if it can be the only thing they do. It's, please, do not get me wrong. Any addition is a good addition to this team. They had injuries that were plaguing this group. You want to slowly be able to bring along Darius Robinson. You needed bodies in that room. You lost Dennis Gardeck, right? This feels, to me, since we're talking out loud, we're reacting to these things in real time, didn't have time to, process a trade as it happens. This kind of feels like a Dennis Gardeck replacement, right? This feels like somebody you bring in to replace. Now, I don't know if he can even put up the production that Gardeck was doing, but that feels like the replacement. And even with Dennis Gardeck on this team and healthy, we still thought they should add a pass rusher. So this cannot be the only work. The work is not complete. This is a good move. This is a move that helps the Arizona Cardinals. It makes them deeper in a group that they were not very deep at. So adding somebody to help raise the floor of the group is good. This cannot be the only move that this team makes. And to get back to the point that I was making before the news broke, we cannot get to Wednesday and be having a conversation that the only thing they did was add Baron Browning. That can't be the only move that is made between now and tomorrow. Can't. Because then I think you will have disappointed the fan base. Not that that is what keeps people's jobs. Winning football games do. And so if you keep winning, it's not a problem. But I think if this team wants to continue to win football games, they got to add some more there. And so one move down after I was complaining that we hadn't had any activity, it is Baron Browning off to the Arizona Cardinals for a 6th round selection. And so we will see what this team is able to, how quickly they're able to get Baron Browning up to speed. I said this last week. You probably want to get these moves done sooner rather than later. Guy played for Denver. Denver's coming back from Baltimore. It's easy. He can just take a quick flight to Arizona, right? And potentially be ready to play the Jets on Sunday. That's the other part of this too, is you want to have guys that can immediately help your team. You don't want to miss opportunities to have guys miss the game when there's only 8 of them left for the Cardinals on the calendar because their bye week is later. They have not had a bye yet. So you don't want to have 10 games of your season come and go, and then your addition is coming in to only play 7 games. Every game that a new addition to this team can play is important. And so to me, Baron Browning feels like a Dennis Gardeck replacement. After Dennis Gardeck got hurt, there is still a need. There is still a hole on this team to add somebody else. So we will be keeping an eye on what happens the rest of the way here to see if this is the only move that the Cardinals made, but we do get some activity. Monty Ossenfort did listen. He has heard all the noise. He's been working the phones, and the first thing that he has presented to us is Baron Browning for a 6th-round pick. Okay, that's a good start. Cannot be the only piece of the puzzle. There's more that needs to be done here. What we were originally going to talk about here, and that's what we will transition to, is the Arizona Cardinals schedule, because it's been a thing that we have discussed in the lead up to the game yesterday, and I've mentioned it a bunch during the show today. This Cardinal schedule the next month or so is really favorable. They play the Jets this week, who are a 3-6 team. They play Seattle after their bye, who's a below 500 team now. They play Seattle again in week 14, below 500. They play the Patriots, who are below 500. They play the Panthers, who are below 500. They play the 49ers and Rams again, who are both 500 right now. They have, as it sits currently, 1 game the rest of the way. 1 against a team that has a winning record. They have 1 game the remainder of this season against a team that is above 500. They play right now 1 game against a team in a playoff spot. They got 2 games in back-to-back weeks against teams that are going to be fighting for the number 1 overall pick, or at least the top 5 selection. And in week 15 and 16, they play the Patriots at home, and then they travel to Carolina. They play the Jets this upcoming Sunday, 3-6 New York Jets. They get their bye, and then they play at Seattle off of their bye. They play at Minnesota, and then they play home against Seattle before getting into that New England-Carolina stretch that I just talked about. You look at these next 4 games. 2-2 is 100% on the table. That would get them to 7-6. And again, I think that would keep them in the mix here. But Seattle is not that great of a team. They are hovering just around 500. I don't know what to make of them as a team. They can't get out of their own way at times. And so I think it's very easy to talk about a team that might go 3-1 over this stretch. And if they go 3-1 in that stretch, heading into New England and Carolina, you're talking 8 wins before you get to that. You have to win 2 of your remaining 4 games against New England, Carolina, Los Angeles, and San Francisco to get to double-digit wins. Easily doable. Easily. So when we look at the calendar for the Arizona Cardinals, I see 3 winnable games immediately. New England, Carolina, and the Jets this upcoming Sunday. That gets you to 8. You split with Seattle. Worst case scenario, that gets you to 9. 9's going to be able to make some noise. 9's probably going to keep you in this division race for a really long time, for a majority, if not all of the season. And then if you do that, you then go into your last 2 games of the season at the Rams, home against the 49ers. More than likely, the season would have to play out. But if you split with Seattle, that means you'll be 3-1 in the division going into those last 2 games. Unless the Rams and 49ers go on just incredible runs, you're going to control your destiny those final 2 weeks of the season. That's how important this 3-game winning streak has been for the Arizona Cardinals. This schedule opens up tremendously. This schedule has a lot of winnable games on it. And you know what? The winnable games that they've had so far, they've won. Winnable game last Sunday or yesterday against the Bears, win. Winnable game the week before in Miami, win. Winnable game at home against the Chargers, win. They were able to survive that early stretch of games that was tough. And they won the winnable games on the schedule. And now the schedule is going to open up in a way that this team should be able to start stockpiling some wins. We're learning that it is a 2025 6th-round pick, so it is a pick in next year's draft for Baron Browning. never really got, and Albert Beer tweeted this, that he never really got a chance to maximize his talent. So here's an opportunity to get a fresh start. He's only played in 5 games this year. He had a foot injury, but 9.5 sacks in his career. So this is not a player that again, to go back to what we said at the beginning here, this is not a player that suffices, I think, the requirements. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He's only had 9.5 career sacks. He's only played in 5 games this year. He has underwhelmed in his time in Denver. There has to be more. This cannot be the only move. If they want to convince us all that they have won the deadline and made the necessary moves to not go all in, not push all the chips in the middle, but to reward what this team has done so far and add at the deadline to give their team a fighting chance in the second half with the schedule that we just talked about. Winnable games all over the place. Just winnable games through Christmas. There is a almost mandate to do more than what they did with Baron Brown. And a lot of people on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of conversation that people are saying, hey, there's got to be more here. This cannot be the only thing. This is a nice ad. This is not a terrible ad, but this can't be the only ad because this is an impending free agent. It's somebody who never reached his potential in Denver, only has 9.5 career sacks, has dealt with an injury this year. This can't be the thing this cannot be the move that you put in front of us to say, hey, look what we did. We made a move. We added. That can't be what this team does. It just can't. There has to be more. Again, it's a good start. It cannot be the complete story. Coming up next here on the show, some familiar faces will be back for the 2025 Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll dive into it next here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
I'll turn those picks into gold.
Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
There are many signs that you may be in financial trouble. Late mortgage payments, paying bills from your retirement account, or paying one credit card with another. If you're experiencing financial hardship, bankruptcy may be right for you. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is bad and will destroy your credit forever, but that's just not true. At Lerner & Rowe Law Group, we'll take the time to carefully examine your situation and develop a plan that is right for you. Call Lerner & Rowe Law Group today for a free consultation.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sean Forster, Managing Attorney.
This holiday season, the Arizona Lottery is celebrating the little things with holiday scratchers like joy, happiness, giving, and a dash of fun. With the chance to win up to $500,000 and an all-expense-paid trip to Hawaii with the Hawaiian Holiday Giveaway. Give the gift of joy with Arizona Lottery's Holiday Scratchers. Visit ArizonaLottery.com to find a retailer near you.
Noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Hey Arizona, Tom Chambers here. I've learned that great teams are built by hard work, ethics, and perseverance. That's exactly what you get with Right Way Roofing. Right Way Roofing is a third-generation roofing company that has built trust in our community through their commitment to excellence. They use the toughest, most durable materials to handle Arizona's extreme weather. Take it from me, Tom Chambers. When it comes to your roof, choose the team that delivers excellence, because there's only one way, the right way.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
Take advantage of thousands of dollars in SRP rebates and discounts on energy-efficient home upgrades like new air conditioning units, windows, ducts, and insulation. Save money on your energy bill while also making your home more comfortable. SRP's network of participating contractors can guide you from start to finish and maximize your savings by combining Inflation Reduction Act incentives with SRP rebates. Learn more at savewithsrp.com.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the show, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. Make sure you download the KDUS 1060 app. You can take the show with you anywhere you want to take it. You can listen to the station, the show, anytime, any place, anywhere. And you have an opportunity, because we'll be drawn again this Friday. You download the app, you sign up, you listen on the app to the show. You'll have an opportunity to win a $100 gift card from Von Hansen's Meats and Spirits, one-stop shop for all your barbecue needs. Meats, beer, wine, barbecue rubs, wood chips, and even all natural dog food or treats for your pup. So Von Hansen's, we will be drawing another winner on Friday, I believe. So you got to listen on the app. So go ahead and download, register, and get yourself all signed up so you have a chance to do that. So again, you can take the show with you anywhere, anytime, and you have it there in your pocket on your smartphone. Just download the KDUS 1060 app, and it's available on all platforms, Apple and Android alike. Some Diamondbacks talk here as we're getting some more news, and these options, these player options are getting accepted and declined by all of these different teams. And this is giving us a better picture of what the Diamondbacks offseason is going to look like, as they've made some decisions on some options of their own, as they have picked up the options of third baseman Eugenio Suarez and for starting pitcher Merrill Kelly. Suarez's option was for $15 million. There were maybe some questions of whether or not they would take that on for next year. But I said last week that Eugenio Suarez feels like somebody that they bring in, they pick up his option. He can be that veteran third base presence. And then when they feel comfortable enough with Jordan Lawler to call him up and play third base, then Suarez will be kind of moved into a DH rotation / defensive, when we need to give the youngster a day off kind of rotation as a bench piece. And for $15 million in today's Major League Baseball, that's not a bad insurance policy to have, because you don't know how long it's going to take for Jordan Lawler to be ready in the organization's eyes, to be up there and playing third base every single day for this team. And so to have that insurance policy feels like it makes some sense. And for Merrill Kelly, that option was $7 million. I know there were, I saw Keith Law talk about that he thought that the Diamondbacks were going to decline that option. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. It's for like $7 million, and Merrill Kelly is one of the best starters that this rotation has. That was easy to pick up for this team. That was the easiest option in the world, because you add him to that rotation, and now you have Zach Gallen, you have Brandon Pfaadt, you have Eduardo Rodriguez, you have Merrill Kelly as the four that you're going with at the top of this rotation. Now, yes, we've talked about this. Jordan Montgomery is still back. He did pick up his option, but I do not think that's going to be a long-term situation. I think there is a chance that they trade him or they try to give him a full offseason, but I don't think that fifth spot in the rotation is absolutely his. And so when taking all of this into account, taking that they bring back Eugenio Suarez, taking into account that they officially picked up the option for Merrill Kelly, I look at this team, and maybe we need to make some adjustments to what this can allow us to narrow in our focus for what this team should do in the offseason. Because I mentioned it, the rotation, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt, Ryan Nelson right now is how it currently sits. Feel pretty good about the first four guys in that rotation. Zach Gallen, when he's on, is an ace. Merrill Kelly is a guy that just takes the ball every 5 days and goes out there and gives you a quality start. Eduardo Rodriguez, again, a guy to eat innings, middle of the rotation, guy that you want to give you quality starts. Brandon Pfaadt, your young 26-year-old starter that you're trying to build the future of this rotation around, right? Merrill Kelly's 36. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be 32. Zach Gallen is only 29, but is he going to be here next year? So Brandon Pfaadt, the guy that you're trying to build this rotation around moving forward. And then you got Ryan Nelson, who's also 26, and at times last year showed that he had the stuff to stay in this rotation. So is there a pressing need to go out there and add a starter? You're probably looking to add some depth. You're probably looking to add some insurance policies as some AAA depth, because you can't go into a year with only 5 starters. You can't go into the year with only 6 starters, 7 starters. You need to be almost, 9, 10 deep with quality arms. Now, not to the level of Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly, but you just need guys that you can trust to eat innings if injuries happen. You need to have high quality depth. You need to have major league caliber depth to be able to go 8 and 9 deep in your rotation if need be. That's the way the game is going right now. Most of these guys will miss a start or two or skip a start or two or miss some time, a week or two with something. So you got to have depth. So that is still going to be something that this team looks at, but I don't think they'll be in the waters of the Max Frieds of the world or the Corbin Burns of the world. I don't think they'll play there. One, they're financially limited in what they can do being a smaller market team. So those guys are going to command probably too big of a dollar amount. And they feel comfortable with where their rotation is at right now. And so if they're going to spend big money, I think it's going to be on the offensive side of things. Now, don't discount Roki Sasaki if he gets posted. If he does come over from Japan, the Diamondbacks will be in on that. They've scouted him extensively. They're a West Coast type team, right? Even though it's not California or Seattle along the West Coast, I think it's close enough. It's closer than the East Coast teams, obviously. Money isn't going to be the factor there. It's going to be the sales pitch. And so if he does get posted and comes over from Japan, that is a name to keep an eye on because of the extensive work that the Diamondbacks have already done. And it wouldn't cost a lot. That's something that they could do. And honestly, that would be your Zach Gallen replacement, in my opinion. If they made that move and they signed him, it would be with the idea of, Zach Gallen's probably not going to be here for very long. Let's get a young pitcher over here that we can build him and Brennan Fott around for the future. So that's how I see the starting pitching market playing out for the Diamondbacks. They're comfortable with the guys they have. They will look for depth. They will be in the Sasaki market if it develops, if he does get posted, if he is coming over to the United States to play Major League Baseball. But that's it. If they're going to add pitching, it is going to be depth, or it is going to be heavily focused on improving this bullpen. They've got their 9th and 8th inning guys settled. It's going to be getting arms into this mix so that you have different looks, different arm slots, different speeds, different pitch mixes. You're just going to try to add depth to that group and potentially add one higher leverage arm with Justin Martinez and AJ Puck to give you a 3-headed monster. Now, on the offensive side of things, Eugenio Suarez coming back means there's your third baseman. And so this team desperately needs a DH, and they desperately need a first baseman. And that's why I think they won't play in the waters for the big starting pitchers, because they'll be in the waters for a bat. Jock Peterson did decline his mutual option with the team, so he's set to hit free agency. Doesn't mean that these two sides couldn't reconvene right now during the winter meetings at a later date. There is an opportunity for a reunion, but he is going to test free agency and see what the market has for him. And so this team needs a DH. I think in an ideal world, they slide Lourdes Gurriel Jr. back to the left field spot. They bring in a DH. Jake McCarthy is your left-handed bat off the bench, but also somebody that gives you defensive coverage if you want to make a defensive replacement late. And they need a first baseman because, again, I don't know if Pavin Smith is who they want to be their opening day first baseman next year. Those are the two glaring signs of upgrade for this team, DH and first base. They need to improve the offensive output from this team. You expect better from Corbin Carroll next year. You know what you're going to get from Ketel Marte. You know what you got from Lourdes Gurriel. You got 30 home runs from Eugenio Suarez in a down year. You need to get more out of this offense. Adding 1 or 2 more bats because you lost Christian Walker, so you have to replace him. Even if it's with just bringing Christian Walker back, they still have to go through that process. And so this team needs at least 2 high-quality bats this offseason. So that's probably priority number 1. And it probably is 1 and 1A with a high leverage reliever if they wanted to create a 3-headed monster. So you're looking at an offseason that is focused on bats, first base bats, DH bats, power, thump, length to this lineup that certainly needs it, a high leverage reliever to create a 3-headed monster with Justin Martinez and AJ Puck to allow you to, not every night, but most nights, make the game a 6-inning variety. Where you get to the latter stages, you're going to face this guy in the 7th, this guy in the 8th, this guy in the 9th. Good luck. That's where the Diamondbacks want to trend. And then they're going to add arms to have different arm slots, to have different pitch mixes, to have depth, lefty, righty, be able to mix and match, just add to this bullpen. That is where this team is going to live this offseason. So you can get excited now, start working on your wish list right now. Start picking out the players that you think make sense for this team. But as it stands right now, according to Fangraphs, their estimated final payroll for 2024 was about $175 million. Their current estimated payroll for 2025, now this is with Jordan Montgomery opting in. This is with Eduardo Rodriguez being here. This is with Ketel Marte, Eugenio Suarez opting in, Lourdes Gurriel, all the contracts that are already there. Merrill Kelly opting in, right? All that's on the books. They have arbitration projections for Zach Gallen, for AJ Puck. They project them to be right now at around $157 million for their estimated payroll right now. So there's not a ton of wiggle room. They're more than likely not going to go above the 175 number from last year. That number was inflated in large part due to the World Series money, in large part because Ken Kendrick wanted to reward the run that this team had, keep the window open, and so they spent more than they've ever spent. I think best case scenario, they match that number. So you're talking around $18 million to play with. So it's not a lot of wiggle room. And so it's why it's going to be almost imperative that they move Jordan Montgomery sooner rather than later. And even if they eat half the salary, that frees up $10 million. That could be a DH bat. That could be their one-year stopgap solution. Jock Peterson last year, they signed to a one-year, $12.5 million deal. So you trade Jordan Montgomery, you pay half his salary. That frees up enough for you to play in the DH waters. And then you have the other $18 million to do what you want. So there's not a lot of wiggle room right now. And so you start to wonder what other creative solutions this team could have. You start to wonder what other potential, so is a Zach Gallen trade potentially in the works to free up, at least according to Fangraphs, his arbitration next year would be $14 million. Do you free up that money and then allocate it somewhere else? What options are really on the table for this team? So DH, first base, high leverage reliever. That's it. That's where this team is going to live this offseason. And they'll make depth signings for the rotation. They'll make depth signings for the bullpen. And they will probably add a bench bat or two. But the big ticket items that this team has to try to figure out with limited capital is DH, first base, another high leverage reliever. That's the shopping list for Mike Hazen. That is the grocery list. That is what this team needs in order to fill some holes and put themselves in a position to be competitive in 2025 with limited resources. Because if we say they're going to match the 2024 payroll, that's $18 million to spend. I don't know if they'll meet that number this year. The more we talk about this, the more I think Jordan Montgomery's got to move so that they can free up any part of that money. Again, even if you pay half of it, if you pay 12.5 of the 22.5 and you just free up $10 million, that's one player. That's an addition to your team. That's a high leverage reliever on a one-year deal. That's a DH on a one-year deal like you did with Jock Peterson last year. That is the opportunity cost of keeping Jordan Montgomery at $22.5 million. So the more we talk this out and the more you look at the numbers, it screams to me that they're going to have to make that move. Coming up next, we wrap up this edition of The Leftovers, a college football recap from the weekend. We'll see if there's any more trades in the National Football League and a Monday Night Football preview. Next, here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Already? I'll be right there. It's happening.
Take I-10 west. You are on the fastest route. Mom says, OMG, I'll let everyone know. You have arrived.
Honey, I'm right here.
She's doing great. We're almost there.
She's perfect. Hey, baby girl. The whole world can't wait to meet you.
More coverage for life's most important moments. Rethink AT&T. Learn how to get the best price in the Valley for an unlimited wireless connection. $20 a month for 4 lines. Comparison based on lowest price for 4 lines of postpaid service on T-Mobile and Verizon compared to AT&T Value plus VL with purchase of smartphone on installment plan as of 6/17/24. Coverage not available everywhere based on area LTE coverage and third-party data. AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Limited time. Taxes and fees extra. Other restrictions apply.
Attention! Want to lose up to 15 pounds by this time next month? Now you can with semaglutide from Red Mountain Weight Loss. Get the same ingredients you'd find in the expensive brand name drugs for half the price at Red Mountain Weight Loss. For over 30 years, Red Mountain Weight Loss has been the leader in medical weight loss, providing quality medications and expert medical support. Our medications are all tested by an accredited and FDA-inspected lab, so you can trust the source. And our clinical team can help you with the tools to speed your your weight loss. Why pay more when you can pay less for the same results? Get injectable semaglutide, the exact same ingredient found in the expensive brand names you've seen Oprah talk about, for a fraction of the cost. Lose up to 15 pounds by this time next month and look great in time for the holidays. Ask about our interest-free financing for payments that'll fit your budget. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Quality medications, expert support, faster results. Go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com.
Hey, Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back to wrap up this edition of the Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. Hope you're all having a great start to your week. It's a Victory Monday edition of the show. Suns are in action later on tonight, coming off a big win over the weekend. The Cardinals with a big win yesterday over the Bears. I mean, there's a lot of good going on right now, and even more good because the Arizona State Sun Devils picked up a win over the weekend in a weird game that was delayed a little bit because of weather, but they defeated the Oklahoma State team, who is still searching for their first win in the Big 12, as they win 42-21. And for the fourth time this season, Cam Scatterbo is the offensive player of the week in the Big 12 because he ended the day. And producer Dylan, you're going to have to check me on the math here because we're going to do it live on the show. 23 carries for 153 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. 4 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. Now, this math's easy. 3 touchdowns combined. 3 total touchdowns for Scatterbo. And then doing some quick math, it is 274 all-purpose yards for Cam Scatterbo. 153 yards on the ground, 121 yards via reception, 3 total touchdowns. He's just insane. He is just insane. He is just a perfect college football player to watch. He just does everything the right way. He's just so much fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, this Arizona State team is fun to watch. They're fun because they embody their coach. We talk about it with the Cardinals, how they're embodying their coaching staff. This Sun Devil team, they embody their coaching staff. Sam Levitt comes back from injury. No problem. 20-29, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns. Easy. We'll take on the Cowboys. No problem. Already bowl eligible. And now the question is, what's the limit for this team? What's the ceiling for this team this year? 3-2 in conference, so we'll probably take that off the table. But the rest of the way, UCF up next at home, at Kansas State, who's currently ranked 22nd, and then home against 9th-ranked BYU. And at the start of the year, you look at that game and 9th-ranked BYU, and you probably say, oh, man, that's going to be a tough matchup. I know BYU is 5-0 in the conference. I know they're 8-0. They're undefeated, but Sun Devils are 6-2. Sun Devils are playing good football. There's a non-zero chance that ASU walks into that game 8-2 themselves. They play UCF at home. UCF's 4-5 on the year, 2-4 in the conference. And one of their 2 conference wins is against Arizona, who is now 1-5 in the Big 12 in year 1. Think about this. Arizona State 3-2 in the Big 12. U of A 1-5. Going into the year, you thought it would be flipped. ASU is exceeded every expectation that they had for themselves, or at least people had for them in going into the Big 12 in year 1. And those expectations were at the bottom. The expectations for this team were, you'll probably be last in the Big 12. And they've exceeded those expectations. They are a middle-of-the-pack team. They're just knocking on the door of some teams like Cincinnati and Texas Tech and Kansas State, who they play in a couple of weeks. There's a decent chance that they're at worst 7-3, at best 8-2 going into that matchup against BYU. They are playing some really good football. They're healthy. They got Levitt back. It is so fun to see this program in a year that wasn't anticipated to be like this. This was supposed to be year 2 for Kenny. He was supposed to start turning the program into his vision. First year in the Big 12, there were going to be some growing pains. They have hit the ground running in a way that I don't think anybody thought that they could. In the AP Top 25, they received 3 votes via Top 25 team. And then in the coaches poll, they received 17 votes. Teams in front of them that received votes: UNLV, Syracuse, Louisiana, South Carolina, Louisville, Tulane. The teams directly in front of them. On the AP side of things, there are 3 votes. Teams in front of them: Washington at 4, Louisiana at 9, UNLV at 9, Tulane at 41, South Carolina at 58, Missouri at 81. So they're receiving votes. They're getting the national recognition. They're not ranked yet. But I think you win the next 2 weeks. You beat a ranked team in Kansas State who's 21st in the coaches poll, 22nd in the AP top 25. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we are right around the corner from the first college football playoff rankings that we can all yell about. Producer Dylan doesn't know this about me, but I'll let you know about this. There is one thing that I hate more than anything, and it is the college football playoff committee. I think they get paid a lot of money to do a job, and they get paid a lot of money to do a job very poorly. The college football playoff committee, one of the worst groups in sports. They are constantly terrible at their job, making just silly mistakes with teams. I don't know how they see the sport of college football the way that they do. So we're getting close to that. We can get angry about that, even though we've expanded the playoff, more teams get in. So it shouldn't cause that much consternation. It will. I'll get upset about something. I'll get angry about some mid-major team being ranked like 17th instead of like 13th. I will find something to be angry about. Don't you worry. But we're getting close to that. And so there's a chance that this team, if they win their next 2, which would include a ranked win over Kansas State, you're looking at a team that could be ranked at 8-2, wins over a ranked Kansas State team, making noise. At that point, they would be 5-2 in the Big 12. Yeah, they could be ranked. And could you have thought that that would have been the case when this year started? That the Arizona State Sun Devils were going to be a ranked football team at any point in the year? Was that on anybody's radar? Did anybody think that was going to be the case? Did anybody think that the Arizona Wildcats would be 3-6, 1-5 inside the Big 12? They lost 56-12 to UCF. UCF's not a good team. UCF entered this game 3-5. They were 1-4 in the conference. They weren't playing well either. And you score a touchdown. You go on a 10-play, 78-yard drive to make it 28-6 to just put some points on the board, to give yourself just anything, something, because you spotted them a 28-0 lead. You score a touchdown with 46 seconds to go in the half. And how does the half end? A 48-yard Hail Mary to end the half. That is the summation of this season for the University of Arizona. You finally do something against a UCF team that you should not be down 28-0 to. You'll finally get on the board. You missed a PAT. So you should have known then that was when it was going to happen. So it's 28-6. And then a 48-yard Hail Mary to end the half to make it 35-6. It was over. And it was over at 28-0. 602 total yards of offense for UCF, 33 first downs. U of A, 261 yards of total offense, 14 for. I just don't know how a team can take this large of a step backwards as quickly as that team down there has. It is insane to me. I didn't think they were going to continue the step up from the last year of Jed Fish. I thought they were going to take a small step back. I thought they were going to be a middle-of-the-pack team middle of the pack team, even though they're not in the Pac-12 anymore. They're now in the Big 12. I thought they were going to be just a middle-of-the-road team. Win 8 games, maybe 9 games. Be relevant. Continue with 3-6. 1-5. People lose jobs over that type of performance. And I don't know if they'll make a change after year 1. I don't know if they can afford to make a change after year 1, but not good. Not what you signed up for. So a good week for the Sun Devils, another bad weekend for the Arizona Wildcats, and who knows where they go from here. You look at their schedule. They got Houston, TCU, and then the game against ASU to close out the year. So they're playing a Houston team who's 4-5, and they play a TCU team who's 5-4. So it's not like they're playing – they already played BYU. They lost to them. They already played Utah. They beat them. Their 3 wins are against New Mexico, Northern Arizona, and Utah. And remember that NAU game. They almost lost that game. That was a close game in the second half. That's when we should have known that something was up with this team. And it has been downhill since then. It has been 5 straight losses. Some blowouts in there, 41-19 to BYU, 34-7 to Colorado, and this past weekend, 56-12 to UCF on the road. Just brutal. And I don't know where they go from here, but there's going to be some soul searching that gets done this offseason. We've got a Monday Night Football game tonight. The Bucs will be taking on the Chiefs as we do the leftovers here to wrap up this edition of the lunch break. And we appreciate you joining us on your lunch break during our lunch break. And the Chiefs, the last undefeated team in the NFL, and they are undefeated, I think, in spite of themselves because they have not played good football. They aren't playing worthy of a team that should be the last unbeaten, but on the other end, they are playing worthy of a team that's being unbeaten because they're finding ways to win. And when you're unbeaten and you're a good team like the Kansas City Chiefs are, that's what you do. When you have a generational quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, when you have a Hall of Fame head coach in Andy Reid, when you have that duo, you find ways to win. You're well coached. You get good quarterback play. You make the plays that are necessary in order to win football games. That's what you do. And that's what they continue to do. And so they take on a Bucs team that's dealing with injuries, trying to keep their season alive. And the tough thing about it is you look at the NFC playoff picture, they're 4-4. Their path is the division. And they've spotted the Falcons a huge advantage. The Falcons are 6-3. If the Bucs win, they stay just one game back in the loss column. But if they lose tonight, it's 2 games back. The Falcons, I think, have beaten them twice already. Yeah, they've beaten them twice, so you have to be 2 games better. This is a huge game because the wild card race is not in play. At least it doesn't look like it's in play. The Packers are the 7th seed at 6-3. Eagles at 6-2. Vikings at 6-2. Those are your 3 wild card teams right now. So this is a really important one for the Bucs if they are going to stay relevant in this playoff race. And I don't think they are. I don't think they're going to win. I almost made this one of the Schubert 6 from this past weekend. But this number is pretty big. It's Kansas City -9, and that worried me a little bit. Again, I was scared of the big numbers this week. I was petrified, absolutely petrified of the big numbers. Now, we should wrap up by talking about the Schubert 6 because I don't think we did it at any other point in the show. We got Falcons over the Cowboys. We got the Bengals over the Raiders. We got the Commanders over the Giants. The ones that we lost, we took the Broncos to cover against the Ravens, and we took the Packers to cover against the Lions. We were getting points. We lost both of those. We also picked the Eagles to beat the Jags, and I forget what that number closed at, but -5 feels like we lost that one, if I remember correctly, what that number closed at. So a better week than we had in week 9, or in week 8, excuse me, but we got to do better. Maybe we'll mix it up and we'll throw Thursday night in there. I don't want to look. Listen, the last thing I want to do is look ahead at the schedule ahead of time because then it's all I'm going to think about for the whole week. So tomorrow we cleanse the palate. Tomorrow we do the post week 9 power rankings, and then we can start to discuss whether or not we're going to make a decision for a week 10 Thursday night game as the Schubert 6. We'll allow the time to simmer. We'll allow the NFL trade deadline to come and go. We will see if the Arizona Cardinals have more moves up their sleeve. And if you just are joining us and you missed it, the Cardinals did make a move earlier today. They acquired Baron Browning from the Denver Broncos in exchange for a 2025 6th-round selection. So attempting to add a pass rusher to their group. Browning, a mixed bag, right? Is only 25, but is a free agent at the end of the year, has 9.5 career sacks, but has only played in 5 games this year, missed some time with a foot injury, but doesn't have any sacks this year. Again, feels like a depth move for this team to add just a body to this room. I do not feel like this can be the only move that this team makes, because if it does, it would be a disappointment. But there is still time left for them to call up the Browns about Zadarius Smith, maybe call up the Panthers about Jadeveon Clowney. There are avenues. There are players still left out there for this organization to go acquire. And I never thought it was only going to be one move if they were going to make moves. It felt like it was going to need to be a variety of moves to add to this group. This feels like the first one, and we will see what they have in store for us between now and the trade deadline, because all the other big names are still out there. That's the only move that happened today, was them making the move for Baron Browning and Dennis Allen getting fired by the Saints. Those are your big news in the NFL today. It's going to do it for this edition of the Lunch Break. We appreciate you joining us on your lunch break during our lunch break. If you missed anything, you can always catch it in the podcast feed. Just search the Lunch Break wherever you get your podcast. Everybody make it a great rest of your Monday. Talk to you tomorrow. KDUS AM 1060.